What is it that makes a stage manager a good one? Is it the way they organize and color code their binder? Is it the way they give line notes? Is it the way they're able to communicate with directors, designers, technicians, and actors alike? What is it? I was once told that I exuded stage management. But what does that mean? What makes up a good stage manager? People in the performing arts say you either have it or don't have it. Is there a specific it quality for stage managers? I believe there is. But what is this elusive it for stage managers that makes someone a good stage manager? This is what my TED Talk will explore. Steve Younkins, otherwise known online as the creator of Q2Q Comics, a webcomic based on technical theater experiences, started off his series stage manager with comic number 1. Some of the anatomy items listed include brain, for knowing everyone's lines; voice, can cut through steel, also a weapon; eyes, sleep deprived, for glaring; book, perpetually on; and finally, ground, walked on, to be worshipped. Are these things that make up a good stage manager? How do you get to a point as a stage manager that the ground you walked on is to be worshipped? What is it that I exude? Can it be learned over a period of time? Or are you just born with it? Larry Fazio explains in his book, Stage Manager, The Professional Experience, that there are 3 different levels to what makes a good stage manager to fully understand how to be a good stage manager: the practical application, the qualities, and the spirit. He says that each of these layers delves deeper into the individual. So I guess, like onions and ogres, stage managers also have many layers.
Oh, layers! Onions have layers. Ogres have layers. Onions have layers? You get it. We both have layers.
First, we begin with practical application. This is the most basic part of a stage manager's job, most of which can be taught. This includes the different types of paperwork involved with stage managing, as well as how to run a show, how to schedule and coordinate, and how to administrate. He also listed qualities you would immediately think of when talking about a stage manager, such as organized, detailed, a good planner, a good scheduler, and focused. The qualities of a stage manager he listed are qualities that are a bit deeper than those just mentioned. He says that these qualities can be cultivated, but most stage managers are already born with these traits to varying degrees. The qualities of a good stage manager include compassion, leadership, and the often forgotten quality of being good-humored. I recently surveyed some theater people from all areas, including both students and professionals. I asked them what they thought made a good stage manager by giving them 13 qualities from Stage Manager, The Professional Experience. The qualities were organization, detail-oriented, their planning, a good scheduler, punctual, focused, reliable, confident, observant, a good communicator, compassion, a good leader, and good-humored. The results surprised me. Can you believe that humor is right at the bottom, just below compassion? I guess my attempts to care about people and help them enjoy their work was just wasted on them. From now it's just suck it up. The show must go on. I'm just joking. I enjoy making the work environment a pleasant one. I had assumed that things like being a good leader, being detail-oriented, planning and scheduling would have scored high, but instead they were in the middle of the pack, along with being punctual and focused. The top 3 answers were being a good communicator, organization, and being reliable. Some of the other insights that respondents offered included the necessity for a good stage manager to be technically knowledgeable so they could more effectively avoid potential pitfalls during blocking. Another theme that arose was the ability to continually balance both in terms of vision and people, as well as responsibilities. Perhaps diplomacy is one of the key ingredients to making a good stage manager. When you work with a number of incredibly talented people, not all of whom can agree on anything. You not only need a healthy dose of diplomacy, but you also need to act with respect. Perhaps that is what radiates from me. The fact that I truly respect those I work with. Respect can be shown in a myriad of ways, from intentionally listening and responding to concerns and input, to being the first to offer thanks and the last to complain. I also feel that it is important to recognize the value and input of everyone from the star of the show to the greenest production assistant. Each has their role, and the show needs each of their talents and skills in order to be successful. The last thing that Larry Fazio talks about is the spirit of a stage manager. Most people don't grow up wanting to be a stage manager. A performer, director, or musician, sure, but not a stage manager. Being a stage manager usually just happens. Helping backstage and being pushed into the direction of being a stage manager is usually where it begins. Another part of that spirit is that internal drive or desire to be a stage manager. It comes from a place of understanding just what it means to be a stage manager. The long hours, the extremeness of a stage manager's life, the intensity, and the pressure. These cannot be dealt with without that drive to be a stage manager. This is all just the surface of the spirit. To really understand the anatomy of a stage manager, there are 3 qualities at the center of it all: ego, perfection, and control. Ego is usually talked about in a bad way, like having too much ego. Stage managers only need a little ego, because too much does get in the way of doing a job. A good stage manager should know when to sacrifice a little of their ego in order to back down from an argument. It's better to have a stage manager who knows how to admit mistakes and apologize for them. A good stage manager has to deal with their own egos and the egos of everyone surrounding them. The ego is a high-maintenance item, but can be the source of someone's drive and motivation. Perfection is the difference between doing a good job and doing an excellent job. Mixed into the spirit of a stage manager is a strong sense of perfection. Perfection to a stage manager means going above and beyond the set expectations and doing something as impeccable as possible. This is very helpful and useful to a stage manager when used in moderation at the correct times. Perfection, when used in excess, can turn into obsession and compulsion. The job of a stage manager is to know when to stop and benefit from the imperfections and learn from mistakes that were made. Control goes along with perfection. Control is incredibly important in a stage manager's job, more so that they must control but also be in control. Stage managers must maintain this control, but not be iron-fisted. Stage managers make mistakes when they let control overwhelm them and be the motivating force in their work. Control must be used as a tool, as an aid for stage managers. A stage manager remains in control by doing the job well and using the qualities discussed earlier. From all of this, I've realized that while a stage manager can be taught through an anatomy lesson of a stage manager, the true stage managers are the ones born to be stage managers. Talented people born with control over their emotions and actions, to use everything in moderation and only when absolutely needed. The anatomy of a stage manager is complicated, but makes perfect sense if you're born for the job.